Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, my people. What's up? Hope and trust that all is going good. Today is Saturday, the second day of May, 2026, and the time right now is 7:36 a.m. Well, the selfishness or the reality of the selfishness of some people within our midst right here on Antigua have begun to set in. Have begun to set in. And there certainly is a kind of hush. There's a song that says it's a kind of hush. Yeah, there certainly is a kind of hush over sections of Antigua right now. I am reminded of a reference that have often been made to some words of Malcolm X. Malcolm X considered the media to be the most powerful entity on earth due to its ability to control the minds of the masses. You know, Malcolm X warned that without careful scrutiny, media narratives can make people hate the oppressed and love the oppressor. I think Malcolm X was right with that. Now, what some radio idiots are now coming to understand is the severe damage they have done to our democracy that will, in my opinion, hamper this country for years to come, in my opinion. Let me start with 15 to 1. I'm not deal with Barbuda, I deal with Antigua. 15 to 1. In this present environment in Antigua, will the one be able to carry the burden that these radio idiots have brought about? Will the one be able to carry that burden? Time will tell. In my opinion, and I'm going to say it for the record, because it doesn't mean afraid to talk. This is that gone a long time. In my opinion, the opposition party should be looking for about 9 new candidates. 9. That is my opinion. And I'm going to go through it to put it on record. Um, Shugi, in my opinion, he gone. He gone. He gone. I've said enough about him. I don't need to repeat that. He gone. Bowen, I think Bowen is finished too, because that constituency up there is a small constituency. If some infrastructural work is done and there's some jobs provided for the youth in that environment, I don't see I don't see I see the Labour Party controlling that constituency for a while if those things are done. So to my mind, Bowen is gone. But never seen on board Lovell. I don't know what that is. Luckily for him, if I understood what he said on a radio interview leading up to the election, I think he have 1 more year on his contract on this at this university in college in Canada. So maybe that's him. Richard Lewis, in my opinion, is done too. In my opinion, Richard Lewis is done. Um, I think that young man down there, from what I've observed and listened to and heard from afar, I think health granted, he's set up for a while, in my opinion. Jonathan, I'm not gonna say much about Jonathan. I didn't even think Jonathan should come back. He shouldn't even pass back and say he not come. He shouldn't even say he not come because I should have done that. He gone to. Dalso, I think Dalso, I have a question mark beside Dalso, right? I have a question mark. He's one of two that I have a question mark besides Dalso. Um, I don't know how successful he will be. in that constituency, and based on how he lost, I think he lost by a margin of 14%. To make up that 14%, um, might be tough. But I have a question mark. If he stays, I have another try. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I wouldn't have a problem with that also with that. Pearl, my friend Pearl, I think Pearl is done, in my opinion. Pearl is done. She would have lost by about 18%. The difference would have been about 18%. I don't see her making that up in that constituency, how I reason out that constituency there. I don't see it. So to me, I think she's gone. Um, I have a question mark also beside Adrian Williams. That's the guy from Observer, and I mean we know the drama surrounding that, so I wouldn't go over that again. I suspect that he might be, sorry, not might be, not he might be. I suspect that the Labour Party might have another candidate in the next elections. I'm hearing people saying that the present representative QT would like for his son to come through as a representative when they work out their things in the constituency, etc., etc. I don't know how true that is and if that would happen. But if he runs again, I wouldn't have a problem with it. He came into he came into the game late, and if you give him a full run, that would give a better idea. I don't have a problem with that. I think France had gotten 400 and something in the 2023 election. This guy got, I think it's 350. But if he gets another run, a full run, that he can campaign for the period of time, and then maybe you get a truer picture as to what is happening. Neither he or France was going to beat QT, in my opinion. And I don't think that he would be meeting QT in the next election. So who knows what can happen there. So I don't have a problem if he stays there, to be honest. Either which way, I don't have a problem. Winner, George Winner, well, Winner done. And I think that is a foregone conclusion. He fought a good fight. I think he depicts what we want in a politician. He fought, he did his thing, and it worked out how it worked out. No knock on him at all, but I think he shouldn't see the electorate again or face the electorate again. Alistair Thomas. Alistair Thomas goes the way of Harold Lovell and Jonathan Joseph, as far as I'm concerned. No knock on Alistair. I'm not knocking on Alistair, but that is just how it is. That's just how I see it. The UPP would have started one down even before 6 a.m. election morning. What, Thursday? Thursday morning gone. That's just how it is. Alistair's contribution, I believe, would have to be in another form as opposed to an MP. And again, that is no knock. I'm not trying to knock Alistair, but that's just how I see it. And my friend Alex Brown, he too is gone, in my opinion. He too is gone. The numbers, what, he lost by 33%. The difference was 33%. He and Alistair, 33%. When I was 26%. And I did say already, Pearl was 18%. I'm not going to go back up on that list. So those are the candidates that I see needs to be replaced. Those are the candidates that I believe should be replaced. And that is just how I see that. You know what I mean? That's just how I see that. I want to say something about All Saints East and St. Luke's also. Pringle is going to have to do some work in All Saints itself. I think they said that box come from All Saints itself. He's going to have to do some work in that area of the constituency. And if he can't win that area, he needs to bring the disparity closer. Either 50-50 or, closer disparity going down into his stronghold. Leading up to the election, as you all know, I said I wasn't going to say nothing. But I did hear an interview with Lamin. Lamin had an interview. I have the recording. I don't remember exactly what media system he was on. But he acknowledged, that is, Lamin acknowledged that from an infrastructure standpoint, Alzins East and St. Luke's is the worst in the country. Those are his words. And when he said it, I smiled to myself because I remembered it being said by the Prime Minister in Parliament, I believe it was, that those constituencies where the opposition was in power or in charge, they would be at the back of the bus. Words to that effect. And when Lamin made the statement, I said to myself, wow, imagine that he's admitting that the leader of the opposition constituency is the worst as it relates to infrastructure. And it's reasonable to draw the conclusion, in my opinion, that the infrastructure work that was done just prior to the election was to benefit Lamin's candidacy, right? And I think that persons in that constituency should be aware of that. I believe they are. It wasn't for love of the constituency per se that the infrastructure work was done, which in every constituency should get their fair share of the pie as it relates to infrastructure, as far as I'm concerned. But I have that interview and I will do it. I will do a recording on it down the road. I will do a recording. But I think that Pringle, well, if I see it, I think that he have to see too, is going to have to do some work in the All Saints area proper to, if not win coming out of that box, to reduce the disparity coming out of there. Because I can imagine Lamin is well buoyed, full of energy from his performance, and rightly so. But I think that Pringle is going to have to do some work there. Again, that's just my opinion. Now, there have been a thought that outside forces, let me put it that way, outside forces may bring certain pressure to bear on us, and that would force a political change in the country. There is that thought. In my opinion, based on the 15-1 results from our just concluded elections, I do not believe that that will or can happen. I don't think so. I don't think so, not with 51. If some members of the parliament are removed for whatever reason or reasons, I believe the government is now set up to withstand that shock. I think so. Certainly, I do not see the majority of electorates looking to the present UPP. And let me just quote that. Looking to the present UPP as our political savior. I don't see it. Based on the job that the radio idiots have done on the UPP. Because they thought that they were doing that job on an individual or on two individuals, not understanding what they do. Well, I shouldn't say if they're not understanding, because some of them said they can live anyhow. Okay, you can live anyhow. But what about the others who can't live anyhow? That's the reality that is now setting in. Well, I'm just expressing my opinion. And I've been wrong before. So it's possible that what I'm saying now is wrong. But time will tell. Time will tell. I will listen to the radio hosts or the radio idiots. That's what I refer to them as. The radio idiots next week. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't know about y'all, but as far as I'm concerned, for what they have done to the democracy of this country, they should be run out of town. For what they have done to the democracy of this country and the whole, in my opinion, that this country have been put in by these idiots, these selfish idiots, they should be run out of town. But, as I've said numerous times in this recording, time will tell. My people, welcome to the reality of the situation. I would have heard Digital Isaac said on multiple occasions that when her present tenure as chairman or president, chairman would have finished, she's done. She will do what she can do for her party, but she's done. I don't know if her position remained the same. I think that they had their convention 2 years ago in April, so we're in May now, so I don't know if they're going to be calling a convention, who's going to be going up for these positions. It's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be interesting to watch. But for me, those persons who put them, that is the party, in the hole that they know, if them they so chup it for bring them back around them, why they get in check. My people, have a nice day. Labor Day comes up on Monday, Workers' Day. That's a whole other discussion. But enjoy it. Be safe on the road. You know it is with the traffic and drinking and that kind of stuff. Be safe on the road and enjoy it as best as you can. I suspect that it will be one of the biggest Labor Day rally in years for the ATNLU ABLP faction. And we will see what it is for the ABWU UPP faction come Monday. We'll see what it is. But yes, welcome to reality. Take care. Bless up.